Because this is going to be a truncated class, only 30 minutes, we're only going to do the cars on the areas we're going to work today. So we're going to start in the neck. We'll do shoulder, elbow, and wrist on both sides, okay? We're going to quickly cover the topic of irradiation. So this is an irradiation-based class. Irradiation is simply thought of as full body contraction or tension. So this is going to be squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes, making the veins pop in your forearm. So we're going to take a ramping experience from 0 up to 100 so you know your scale, okay? So stand, you can stand or kneel. I'm going to do this kneeling, but you're welcome to do either one. We're going to create tension through the hands. Let's go to 30% to start. Squeeze the whole body at 30%. This should be still fluid, but starting to get tight in contraction. Let's double that up to 60, okay? Boom. Now we're tight. 70, turn it up. 80, squeezing. 90, constricting air in the stomach. 100, here we go, and squeeze. Everything you got, make the veins pop, and then slowly ramp it down. 90, 80, 70, 60, all the way down to 0. Perfect. So that's the irradiation. I will give you cues on different amounts of irradiation through the class. So that's going to be our scale. We're going to start off in the neck with our linear movement. That's the fundamental movement of the spine. So forward and back. We're going to start with 3 linear flexion and extension. So we're going to start by pulling the chin down into the throat and then bringing chin down to chest. Then we're going to slowly pull the chin back into the throat, pull the chin up towards the sky and lengthen into extension. That's 1. Pulling the chin down into the throat, squeezing into flexion. Notice how I'm not rounding in the upper back, just the cervical spine, the neck, and then bringing it back up into extension. That's 2. 1 more. Pulling down into flexion, back up into extension. Now we're going to start into the neck car. So rotation, chin comes down to chest. Then we scrape the chin along the collarbone over to the right. Once we meet right shoulder, we're going to drop right ear behind the shoulder, looking up towards the ceiling, lift the head out of the shoulders. Chin comes to left shoulder. Bring it down to the shoulder and scrape along the collarbone, heading the other direction over to the left side, scrape along the collarbone, hit that lockout point, drop the ear behind the shoulder, circle around looking up at the sky, chin to shoulder on right side and scrape along the collarbone. That's 1. We have 2 more. Over to the right side, squeeze out like a dirty dish towel. Get as much as you can, drop the right ear behind the shoulder, lifting up towards the ceiling or sky. Chin comes to shoulder on left side and we scrape along the collarbone. Heading over to the left, scrape along that left side, drop the left ear behind the shoulder, circling around in extension. Chin comes to right shoulder and we scrape along the collarbone. We have 1 more rep here. Squeeze into that rotation to the right, drop the right ear behind the right shoulder, lifting up out of the shoulders towards the sky. Chin comes to left shoulder, scrape along the collarbone. Last half, scraping over to the left, drop left ear, looking at the ceiling, circling around, chin comes to right shoulder, and we scrape along the collarbone. Perfect. Now we're going to grab our stick and we're going to go scapula. So the scapula live on the rib cage and they move in a circular motion. Okay, we're going to try and carve the biggest range we can. I'm going to grab the stick. I'll show you from the side and then from the back. So I grab my stick. Now, as I move, the hand and the shoulder stay in, stay the same height. Okay, so as I elevate, the hands come with. As I protract or push forward, the hands go forward. Depression, pull it back into retraction. Elevation and retraction, up and back, up and forward, down and forward, down and back, up and back, up and forward, down and forward. 1 more, down and back, up and back, up and forward, down and forward, and reverse, up and forward, up and back, down and back, down and forward. 2 more, up and forward, up and back, down and back, down and forward. Last one, up and forward, up and back, down and back, down and forward. All right, that is the scapula. Then we're going to move into shoulders. We're going to do shoulders 2 ways. So we're going to start with capsule cars. That is just internal and external rotation. So I'm standing right here, and then I'm going to rotate as much internal as I can without the shoulders or the upper back rounding forward. So I'm going to squeeze into that internal and then squeeze back into external. We're going to do 5 of these. Squeeze into internal as much as you can get. Squeeze into external. Now, I want a radiation at 60 to 80%. So that is going to be really good, solid tension, but not as much as you can. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, keep carving through internal and external. That's 3 for me. I'm gonna do 2 more. Pull into internal, pull into external. Good, 1 more. Internal and external, perfect. Now we're gonna do shoulder cars. Got some bugs swarming me right now. So I'm gonna be half kneeling. I'm gonna take my right arm, wrap it around the right leg, and then the left arm is gonna come into maximum external rotation. From here, I'm gonna come up and in. So without rotating through the body, bringing that arm over as far as I can. Then I'm gonna pull up into shoulder flexion. Once I get here, I go rotation, internal, so the top of the hand faces the ground. I lift up to the sky, and then top of the hand comes down by the supporting left leg. We lift up and back. You hit a lockout point where you can't move. External rotation will free up space, hit shoulder flexion, and then down to that front toe. Okay, that's 1, we're doing 3, 2 more. Pull up into flexion, big rotation, as much rotation as you can squeeze out. Top of the hand faces the ground, hit an extension, and then hand comes down by the leg. Lift up and back, external rotation, shoulder flexion, and down. We have 1 more. Bring it up, shoulder flexion, internal rotation into extension, down by the leg. Last half, up and back, external rotation, shoulder flexion, and down to the ground. Now we'll switch sides. Okay, so right knee is down. That means we're working right hand. Left hand circles around the left leg and we hold it tight. External rotation is away from midline. Palm faces forward. I come up and in. Let's see, move this guy a little. Cool. Up and in, hit shoulder flexion, internal rotation, top of the hand faces the ground, into extension, and then down by the supporting left leg or right leg, up and back in internal rotation. So top of the hand faces the ground. Once you hit that lockout, external rotation, all the way up into shoulder flexion, and then down towards the toe. That's 1. Shoulder flexion, ring out that rotation, pull into extension, back down, working it backwards, shoulder extension, external rotation, we sweep around and come down to that leg. We have 1 more here. Squeeze out as much space as you can in that shoulder joint. Top of the hand comes by the leg. We go up and back, external rotation, and then down to the toe. Beautiful, y'all. Then we're gonna go elbow. So the elbow, we've got pronation, which is in towards midline, and supination, which is rotating away, okay? So what we'll do is we'll take 3 elbow cars in elbow flexion. So we're just gonna rotate in, or supination, pronation, supination, pronation, 1 more, supination, and pronation. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna, after the elbow cars in elbow flexion, we're gonna slowly start opening up the elbows. Now keeping the shoulders back and elbows squeezing in towards the midline. We extend the elbows, continuing to rotate. We wanna squeeze out as much rotation as we can, all the way down and up. We're gonna do 1 more rep just like this. From the top, all the way back down. Good, and back up. Perfect. Now we're gonna go into PAILs and rails of elbow pronation and supination. So we're gonna start with pronation. So I grab the stick with my palm facing up, and I'm gonna go pronation, which is in towards midline as much as I can. Now you're gonna notice when I do this, this elbow is gonna wanna come, or excuse me, this hand is gonna wanna come to the inside of the elbow. Keep the hand right in line with the elbow as we rotate, okay? We keep that shoulder back, and then we bring that hand down and we stretch out. We're gonna speed up the stretch just a little bit for time's sake, but if you're really wanting to expand your capacity, so if when you go into pronation, you're like, I'm not happy with this amount of pronation, then we need to stretch for longer. Give yourself that 2 full minutes. You can go ahead and pause the video and get that extra stretch in. If you have enough pronation, you feel fine with it, but you just wanna make it stronger, we're gonna head right into that PAILs and rails. So for the PAILs, I'm gonna push up into the hand, trying to exit that pronation. And then when we go rails, we're gonna try and go deeper into that pronation, okay? We're gonna ramp up. So we're gonna start PAILs at 30%. So pushing up into the hand at 30. Now double that feeling at 60%, really driving. Take a breath in, trap the air in the abdomen, full body tension, irradiation at 60, 90, 100, as much as you can push. Go, PAILs, go. go. Give me more, give me more, give me more. 5, 4, 3, brace the core, keep the elbow tucked, and rails, try and squeeze down. 8, 7, as much as you can. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whoo, and relax. Now we're gonna go into supination, which is rotating away. Now, how I like to block this is I find something that I can wedge the end of the stick into. So for me, I'm gonna use this kettlebell. This seems to work well. You could go under a bench, anything like that. This is where we're gonna start. So the further you grab up the stick, the further you are from your anchor point, the less intense. So we wanna find a spot that feels like a stretch, but that's not all in the wrist, okay? So wrist is neutral, hand is in line with the elbows, and we roll back again. If you feel like you want more supination in the elbow, you're gonna stretch for that full 2 minutes. You can go ahead and press pause. If you feel good, but you just wanna increase the tissue capacity, you wanna be able to do more force, then you're ready to head straight into the PAILs and rails effort. Shoulders are back, squeeze the pull. PAILs is pushing up, trying to rotate this stick away. Okay, we're gonna start at 30%. Let's go ahead and PAILs, drive up. Squeezing 30, double that intensity to 60. Take a breath in, trap the air, 60% full body. 90, go 100, as much as you can. Try and lift that kettlebell or whatever that pull is wedged under, push more. More, feel it in the elbow, not the wrist. 5, 4, 3, 2, brace the core and rails, squeeze down, trying to get more supination. 8, 7, harder. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Perfect. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to go pronation first on this other arm. So roll that shoulder back, elbows right in line with the hand, and we're going to rotate into pronation, which is in towards midline. We're going to grab that hand, we're going to stretch it out. Again, if you're happy with your pronation, we're going to jump right into PAILs and rails. If you would like to get a little bit more capacity or range, that's when you need to apply that stretch. So hit pause, give it your 2 minutes or more, and then you're gonna join us back in this PAILs and rails. So PAILs is gonna be, again, just like on the other side, pushing into the hand, trying to rotate into supination. Rolling shoulders back, PAILs, driving up into the hand, 30%. Double that intensity at 60%. Take a breath in, trap the air, and drive 60% whole body. 90, 100, and go as hard as you can. Go, go, more, give me more, more, more. 6, 5, 4, 3, roll the shoulders back, brace the core, rails, rotate down towards the ground. Whoo, that's spicy. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rotate into supination. Again, same block. I'm gonna use that kettlebell on the other side now. You can move positions, turn around to get the other edge that you used, and then we're gonna set up into that supination. So rotating away from midline. Again, if you're gonna want that stretch, press pause. So if you get into this position and you're like, I'm not happy with that amount of range, you need that 2-minute stretch. Otherwise, jump right into increasing capacity demands with the PAILs and the rails. So PAILs, I'm gonna try and lift that kettlebell, rotating up. Rails, I'm gonna try and push the stick down into the ground or rotating away. Here we go. 30% PAILs, drive into that stick. Good. Double that feeling at 60%. Take a breath in, trap the air, squeeze everything at 60%. Good. 90, 100, go as much as you can. Drive, drive, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails, squeeze it down. 8, 7, come on, more, more, more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. Okay, now we're gonna go into our wrists. So we're gonna do flexion and extension, PAILs and rails, or excuse me, flexion and extension lift-offs of the wrist. So for flexion and extension lift-offs, we're gonna do 5 reps for 5 seconds of hold. So we're gonna go extension first. That's pushing the fingers down towards the forearm. So, excuse me, that is flexion. We're gonna start flexion first. So we're gonna push the fingers down towards the forearms. We're gonna go top of the hands on the ground. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rock as far back as I can. Elbows are straight, roll the pits of the elbows forward. Now I'm gonna try and pull the pads of my fingers up towards my forearm. Ooh, this mat is hot, hot, hot. Okay, so I'm trying to give you guys a good view. So I'm right here. I'm gonna roll the elbows forward. I'm gonna pull the palms towards the forearm and I'm gonna rock forward. 5, 4, palms are straight. 3, 2, 1, load up, lean back. Rails squeeze up and rock forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's 2. Rock back, squeeze up, elbows stay forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more, rock back. Squeeze into that extension, flexion. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last rep, rock back, squeeze into that. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we'll switch directions. So we're gonna go into extension now. So palms are down. I'm gonna do that same thing. Pit of the elbow rolls forward. We rock forward and then pull the fingers up towards the forearms and rock back. 5, 4, 3, elbows stay straight. 2, 1, that's 1. Rock forward, pull back and rock. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rock forward, pull back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more rep, rock forward, elbows straight, pull back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Then we're gonna do just a couple of wrist cars to lock in that motion. We'll go 3 in each direction. Palm stays open, pulling into end ranges. Big circle. And reverse after 3. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. And then switch. Palm open, pull up into extension, flexion, circle into internal, extension, external, flexion, that's 1. Reverse, palm stays flat. Good, that's 2, 1 more. And that is 3. Perfect. Cool. Now, from here, we're gonna go into scapular cars in a quadruped or push-up position. We're gonna do 5 in each direction, and then we're gonna finish with some shoulder hovers, okay? So, shoulder flexion hovers. So I'm gonna start showing you on option 1. Option 1 is on all 4s, and we're gonna go through our shoulder blade cars using the ground as our set point, and I'm going through full range of motion. So I'm gonna go elevation and protraction, that's forward and up. Elevation and retraction, that's forward and or up and back. Depression and retraction, down and back. Depression and protraction, that's down and forward. So I'm not gonna use the technical terms all the way through, I just wanted to call those out. So elevation and protraction, that's forward and up. Elevation and retraction, that's up and back. Retraction and depression, that's down and back. And then depression and protraction, down and forward, okay? So that's what we're gonna go through. We're gonna do 5 one direction, 5 the other direction. Option 1, on all 4s. Option 2, extend 1 leg. That's kind of moving, getting ready for the push-up. Option 3 is in full push-up. I'm gonna go for option 3, but you know, it's gonna be tough. So here we go. In push-up position, squeezing the core or quadruped, either one, and we're gonna roll. So we're gonna go elevation, up and forward, up and back, down and forward, that's 1. Rolling through, drawing that square, elbows stay straight, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse, down and back, up and forward, down and forward. Rolling through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whoo, and drop it down. Oh, that is intense. You can roll out the wrists a little bit, maybe get 1 to 2 wrist cars, might feel nice. I know that was very challenging on my wrist extension, being in that push-up position. Perfect, and switching. Oh yeah. And we are gonna finish off with shoulder flexion. So we're gonna do 5 shoulder flexions to each side. I'll show you once to the side and then once straight on with each arm. So I'm gonna lay down and then I'm gonna bring my forehead to the ground. I like to put my palm there just as a little block, okay? And then I'm gonna use my block. You can use the kettlebell like I'm doing, or you can also use yoga blocks. Either one work. Okay, I'm gonna be down on the ground, my elbows stay straight. I'm gonna build tension and squeeze into irradiation at 100% for every rep. So I'm gonna lock the elbow, squeeze core, squeeze into shoulder flexion as high as I can get it, up and over, and then slowly set it down. Take a breath, squeeze, rails, up and over, that's 1, we're doing 5. Squeeze, up and over, slowly set it down. Squeeze, up and over, that's 2. Squeeze, up and over, slowly set it down. Squeeze, up and over, that's 3. We have 2 more, elbow stays straight. Squeeze, up and over, set it down. Squeeze, up and over, whoo, that's 4. 1 more rep. Squeeze, up and over, down. Squeeze, up and over, and down. Perfect. And then I'm gonna demo this one straight on for the other side so you guys can see it straight on. Switching sides now. Hand goes down, good. Elbow stays locked out. We want it right outside of the shoulder. And then we're gonna roll. Elbow stays straight, squeeze into irradiation, up and over, and slowly set it down. I'm gonna twist this and bring it a little closer. Elbow straight, squeeze, up and over, good. 1. Elbow stays straight, squeeze, up and over. This is a hard height for me. Squeeze, up and over, that's 2. Stay with me. Squeeze, up and over, squeeze, up and over, good. 2 more, squeeze, up and over, squeeze, up and over. Last rep, elbow straight, squeeze, up and over. Last one, squeeze, up and over, and relax. So that is a wrap on our 30-minute upper limb mini Kinstretch class. So focus on elbow, wrist, scapula, and a little bit in the shoulder. That was a special request from Sean, one of our mobility membership users. So please, if you have something you want to see either in a Kinstretch or a normal class, comment after the session, let me know, and I'll make sure to work that in for you. See you next time, guys. Later.